I just realized if I'm facing this camera, I have no way to read chat at all. Didn't think that one through. But at least the camera works. That's kind of the whole point of testing it. Also, since no one's gonna watch this anyways, I can do the real thing I'm here for, which is take the cheap route of how am I gonna record a video and get it uploaded to YouTube, and this is the cheapest way to do it. By cheapest, I mean the quickest. So just stream and be up. So this is for the no one that's gonna watch this. This is like an update thing on well, it's a new year, so as people tend to do, I will also do like where are we at? What's the update? What's the news? And the news is I'm trying again. I'm gonna try again with this content stuff. I'm gonna try again. I've been so on and off with it over the past, I don't know what is it now, like 5 or 6 years. No, 5 years. And the whole thing with it is that it's mostly to do with me feeling comfortable with my setup, or in my setup, let's say. Because over the years, if I don't know how much is available on the YouTube channel, but you will at least see, if you look back, at least 3 different setups, maybe 4, which one of them would be here, and that's really the one that matters, and then 3 other ones that the context of the situation matters, which is, I've been over this, and all my friends, my acquaintances who still would keep up with me know that I went to college 2 years, was in the dorms there, freshman dorm freshman year, a different dorm sophomore year. Then COVID happened, came back here to home. Then went back to college, had an apartment, then had a different apartment for the next year. And that's basically the long and short of it. So in other words, there were several setups in betweens where when I wasn't there, I was here, which was this setup. And each setup had its goods and bads. But the one consistent good thing is that I at least felt like I was able to stream or like make videos on any given day, just because of the situation of the setup. Whereas here, in this space, that's not how I feel. I don't feel like that as much. So this update is basically like, I'm gonna try to actually make this space feel like I can make content here, like actually stream when I want to, or maybe even record a video, whatever. And basically also it's kind of like a setup tour slash like update of the setup thing that I want to do, just because I like watching those kind of videos, and I have nothing else better to do at this moment because it's like 3:48 in the morning on Sunday, and I'm still dealing with changing my schedule around after jet lag. I have nothing better to do. So basically, the issue with this space is it's twofold. The first bit is the sound slash audio of the space, like the noise situation. The second is the physical layout of the space. And man, I look so much fatter on camera than I actually am. It just bothers me. Anyways, so I'm gonna do the audio one first because I think that's the bigger issue. It's never really been the layout, although that's never helped. But the audio has always been the bigger issue. So I'll go with that first. The first aspect of the audio slash sound thing is kind of tied to the physical layout, which is that this is kind of like a nook. There are 3 walls, the one on my left, the one on my right, and the one behind me, which basically acts as like an echo chamber. Not so much when I'm sitting like the noise entering the microphone isn't the issue. It's the sound that escapes that's really the bigger problem. So obviously you can see 1, 2, 3 walls. Camera is basically located at the 4th wall point. Obviously there's not actually a solid wall there, which means any noise when I'm facing my monitors, facing those walls, bounces off those walls. I'm gonna put that down. Bounces off those walls and back out. Thus the noise tends to escape out into the ether, out into existence, for people who I don't want to bother with that noise to hear. That's always been the biggest issue. One, because it bothers people, and also it's kind of like a privacy issue thing for me. Like I don't want people to hear me yapping and yammering on and on stream. So that's the big one. And there's multiple aspects of the solution that I'm going to approach. One is one that I've been mentioning on stream over these past couple last ones that I've done, which is I'm 3D printing a bunch of stuff, and one of those things is going to be shelves. These ones, which as you can see are not done. They have this giant space in the middle. I'm going to print panels that fit into that space, into this space later, because I'd rather print the actual shelf itself to put stuff on first, so I have the function of the shelf, which is more important to me right now than panels that I will print that will go into this, that will help with dealing with noise dissipation, which I will show right here. Is the 3D, like this is the slice for the 3D printer. It's you've probably seen something like this before somewhere. This kind of shape of a panel. So I'm gonna print that, stick it in here, and it's gonna basically help with noise dissipation much more than these foam panels are right now. Because one, these foam and the panel I will 3D print will basically be as ineffective, really would be the better word, as these foam panels, but it'll do something probably. Except these foam panels are so sparsely spread out that they are even less effective. But with these shelves, they're going to be tiled. I have 2 shelves that I can at least form an example of with. They will be like this, tiling that wall behind me and the wall on my left. You can't really put them here. There's also like a shelf there anyways to kind of helps anyways. But basically, they'll tile the wall completely as opposed to being as sparsely populated as these foam panels. That'll be one aspect of it. The second aspect is, I think, where this fourth wall, where the camera is right now, is, I only have the camera here just so I can show everything better, is I'm gonna put a sound blanket hanging here, which will both help with just physically blocking the audio or noise escaping just that way. Like, it'll be a physical barrier for the noise, but also it'll be a physical barrier visually, which ties into more so the other problem, which is the physical layout of this setup, which has always been a challenge for me to work around. Which the big highlights of the problem are, one, stuff is basically stuff that I can't move. I can't change where it is or what it is or how it does it. That being this desk, this shelf, and kind of even the big hindrance is the power outlet or the power situation here. Because you'd think that this is since this is a corner desk and all my stuff, you think that the power outlet where I'm getting all the power from would be somewhere underneath this space. All right, somewhere underneath here. In fact, if I kind of move my chair out, you can kind of see the cables for a split second there. There they are, and there's the battery UPS system down there. So you think, oh, surely the outlet's on this wall underneath the desk or this wall underneath the desk. Unfortunately, no. The outlet is on this wall. Over here, down there. Which means there's always been a physical limitation that I have to work around. There always will be a physical limitation, at least for this foreseeable future, of where I can physically put stuff that needs to be powered. Because the UPS has to be plugged into the outlet here, and obviously it has a cable, and that cable is only a certain length, and it can only go so far. It can only go so far underneath the desk and still have some sort of cable management where the cable isn't directly across the floor underneath the chair. It's like pushed up against the wall. So there's some sort of cable management to it, which reduces the radius of how far it can go even less. So it has to be basically where it is right now, down there. It has to be down there. And that limits where everything else can go. So this PC obviously has a power cable. That power cable is only so long. It can only be so far away from the outlet on the back of this UPS. But of course, I have monitors, which means I can't put the PC over there and tuck the monitors over here because it's kind of awkward because there's a whole drawer in the way. I can't sit here because my knee hits the drawer. That's stupid. So basically, the PC has to go there. Monitors have to go there. There's a physical limit to where I can put things. Let me turn this way. And that also includes the camera that I normally use, which you can see right here. And also the microphone. I am currently holding the microphone I'm using, which is why the audio is even worse than normal. But the microphone, I can only put wherever I can fit it, and by fit it I mean mic arm. Back in the day, mic arm was on this shelf, mounted on this shelf, kind of like this, going up and then down. That's really bulky, and also it would basically mean the microphone would just be hanging here, which is kind of an awkward spot for it to be, both in terms of it's kind of in my, like if I'm looking at the monitor, it's kind of in my vision and annoying and in the way. But also, if it's above me like this and it's not this shotgun microphone, which I think is actually going to do a better job than the microphone I would have used to have, But still, it's doing worse here than it is here. But it would basically be here, which isn't great. So I'd rather have a microphone. I forget what it's called. But basically, you just have it in front of you like this, and it's kind of standing up straight, and you just have it and you talk into the side rather than the front, which is what I have to do with this. But having it dangle down in front of me to like here, that's squarely in the way of my view of the monitor, and also it's kind of awkwardly in frame of the camera normally. Which means I didn't like it. I didn't like using it. The other thing is I could put it on the desk, but obviously putting it here on the desk means it's also in the way of just my hands, like getting to the keyboard and whatever. And also I could knock it over, all the other stuff. It's kind of in the way if I'm not streaming. I have to put it somewhere on the side. Cable everywhere. It's bad. I'd rather have a mic arm that I could have underneath the desk. That instead of like when it was on the shelf, mounted to the shelf, the mic arm kind of goes up and then down, and the mic would be like here. It could, and it would be kind of awkward. I'd rather have the mic arm be underneath the desk like this, and I could basically have it go out and then up, out from underneath the desk, which would be better. So it would be less in the way. So it'd basically be it would be about here, and it would be much more better to store. But I have no idea if that's really what I want. So that also probably has some issues. The second thing is the camera. This camera in this lighting situation is significantly worse than this phone camera I'm using. So I'm gonna replace. I'm gonna put this camera. I'm gonna use this. Is what I'm saying. This phone camera using it's gonna the phone. This old phone that I have. It's no longer my daily driver. Hasn't been for a couple of years, but the camera on it is still significantly better in this context than that webcam. Because that webcam is probably better in better lighting situation. Because that's for some reason how cameras work. If they're a better camera, for some reason they work worse in some lighting. Like for some reason, better cameras, their sensors do less well with the amount of light they have. Like you need to have more light, more brighter light to have a good image out of it for some reason, which is bothersome to me. And I can't really change it with this camera. The software for it doesn't really allow to change, what is it, like the ISO or whatever, ISO of it. So it's really dark, which means I have to, even just to get it to be not completely terrible, I have to have this bright light that isn't on right now. I'll turn it on just to demonstrate. Shining into my face. That's annoying. And you probably see this kind of, bright lighting where they have like those key lights or whatever, or like, those giant lights in videos or whatever, or streams. People who have more professional grade material than I do to work with, they're basically being cooked under lights. I don't want to be cooked under lights. One, because I don't want to be cooked under a light, but also the power draw. I already mentioned the outlet and power availability is very limited because of the outlet. being where it is, and the UPS only has so many outlets on the back of it, which means I have to be wise with what I plug into it. I can't just have every random little thing. Like I have this LED strip, the LED strip underneath the desk. That light, I think, is plugged into it, or is it charging off of this? It's either this light is either plugged into this USB hub on the back of this monitor that I have taped onto the back of that monitor, and then into the UPS, or directly into the, I don't remember. But either way, the point is, I can't just get like 3 more of those or some other light and plug them in because I don't have any more outlets, and I don't want to overdraw the circuit either. So that's kind of a limitation. So I'd rather have this camera that does better in lower light environments, just because I can't fit that much more in terms of light sources in here. I can't fit anymore. Actually, I can't fit anymore, and I don't want to be blinded and cooked by a light source, anyways. So that's gonna go. And this camera, which we're testing out right now to see how it performs, which it would do so much better than the actual camera. If we go to the camera right now, look at that. That's terrible. It looks all fuzzy. You can kind of see some fuzz in the image. Like, it does terrible in low lighting. And the thing is, if I want it to have, again, I think it's ISO or higher. Let's just go with exposure. Like exposure that is more conducive to darker, to a darker lighting environment. I had to reduce the frame rate on it, which I also don't want to do because that also looks worse. So it's a trade-off of, does it look bad one way or bad another way? Which I think this, using this old phone, if I look at it right now, it looks fine. Like, there's no fuzz to the image really. It's doing much better in terms of being a brighter image, in the dark. And it's so that's gonna do that. The other thing that you might have noticed when I switched back to the camera that I have been using, is the background. This wall, blank, boring, and kind of ugly, with these panels kind of sparsely hanging crooked, very jankily mounted to the wall with like some double-sided tape or like a picture frame nail. It's ugly. I have a bunch of cool stuff that I would rather be in the background. That, because, again, the physical limitations of where I can put stuff, with camera being there, which you can see these shelves are in the way of me raising the camera, but also is where all the cool stuff is. Those are the shelves, which means that's where I can put my stuff, where I can put some cool stuff, which means it's never seen on camera, which would be a significantly better background than this wall. Like, there's a boomerang from Australia on there. There's keychains that I got from Australia. There's a Babam plushie that I got in Japan. There's like a gold picture frame thing, this thing, and like pointing to on camera. That's cool. It's like gold foil artwork of the gold temple in Kyoto, or shrine, or not temple. What the fuck was it? It wasn't a temple. It was like some place where samurai, or like retired samurais or whatever, would be able to go and live. Anyways, but like keychains from Japan and the airport in Taipei, and stuff from Poland, and then more stuff from Japan because I just got back from Japan again. from the second trip. Like all the even Puka over here that we built on stream a couple days ago. Although I don't think I actually no, maybe I would. Oh, I like looking at him. He's adorable. Having these shelves. Again, that's why I'm printing the shelf first, not without the panel, is I can put shelves in the background. I want the functionality of the shelf. One, so I can spice up the background from where the camera is going to be pointed. But also, it'll allow me to actually do stuff on stream that isn't just playing video games. At least for some time. So I mentioned it last stream. I have like 20 nanoblock sets. Plus I have like 5 Lego sets and a bunch of these like crystal puzzles, which I will get right now. Like this puzzle kind of thing. It's called the crystal puzzle. Or whatever. That I got a couple of these in Japan that I also want to build. But I have no shelf space really. So hence print more shelves that will also have panels for sound dispersion. But yeah, I can't build them now because I have nowhere to put them once I build them. That's why I was 3D printing the desk shelves that I mentioned a couple those streams ago, which I will. No, I won't turn the camera. I don't want to like knock it over, but I'll pull up the model again just for show. For context, side main. This is the one downside of doing this live. I'm not gonna edit this, so this stays in. Dead air. Okay, there we go. There's the shelf that's sitting on my desk, and there's drawers that go into this area underneath it. So that's giving me some space, but all I've done is basically move stuff that was on one shelf over onto those so that I could fill that shelf with other things mostly related to the 3D printer itself, so I want to change up everything else in my room as well, get more organized just in general, but also in this specific nook as well. But yeah, no, I have nowhere to put all that stuff that I want to build, and these shelves will let me build it on stream is the plan, and then build it on stream and then put it onto these shelves. So I'll actually have a place to put it. So I will finally be able to do all that. So that'll be nice. What else? Did I mention I mentioned the panels. Did I mention that I also want to, and this is mostly just to do with, so far I've just been talking about these 3D prints. So this is me doing it on my own, but then there's also just stuff I can get, which is a sound blanket. I'm going to try and hang here. I think I mentioned it. It'll physically block the noise from going out there. Oh yeah, that's right. That's how I transitioned to the camera thing. So it'll be a visual barrier, so I can also kind of move the camera a little bit as opposed to where it's stuck right now. I can turn it a little bit more is the point. But also I could probably actually, that's about as far away as it can get from, because all the cables come like here behind this old front panel for a PC case. So all the cables come up through the desk there. So the cables go around and they can get about as far as like maybe a little bit more that way, but that's about as far as they go. But if I put the camera anywhere but there facing where it is, it just shows into the room, which I don't want to do. But if I have a sound blanket there, not only is it a physical barrier against the noise escaping, but it's also going to be a visual barrier, which means I can put the camera like there where this light is even, have it face directly this way, basically straight into the room. But because there's going to be a sound blanket, you won't actually see it. But will I do that? Probably like that much? No. But I will be able to move the camera a little bit more and keep this wall in frame, but not have to worry about showing the room, the entire room itself. What else? I think that's really about all the stuff that I have planned in the near future. Because obviously I'm working on the 3D printing stuff right now. On mic arm, I'll have to look and see if I can even find one that fits like that. But it would probably be around $50, which isn't the worst. Price. Yeah, I'm fine with spending $50. Honestly, the sound blanket is honestly more expensive and more worrying for me because it's like $100 plus the shower curtain that I would put from this wall to that wall. It'd be like another, I don't know how much a shower curtain is, but maybe let's say $20 in this economy. Yeah. The 3D printing is not terribly expensive for the value that you get out of it. But it does cost money too. The filament does cost money. Like to fill out this entire back wall and this wall is gonna be around I already have like how much filament do I have? I'm gonna need to buy like another maybe $130 worth of filament than what I already happen to have. That's also kind of not exciting. But other than that, it goes to a point where it's just stuff way down the line. Because we did build this Puka on stream, and I was able to do top down of for building it, top down camera. But it was very jank, and basically just involved me taking this camera on its little stand, placing it out here, and then tilting the whole thing forward, like the whole gimbal. What that is? I don't know what the hell it's called. But the ball joint, and then twisting it and sticking the camera on it facing straight down, which is more jank than I would want it to be. Plus, again, this camera's terrible in this situation. Again, if I had better lighting, it would be probably fine. I would rather have some sort of mount where I can clamp it to these shelves. This shelf or the one above it. And then just have it like permanently there, looking down. I can just switch scenes to it as opposed to faffing around with moving a camera into place. Not only for the building streams, for nano blocks and Legos and the 3D puzzles, but also for like if I wanted to do something like drawing, I would be able to do it. With more ease and also hopefully better camera quality than that camera. What else? I think that's really about it for any of the even the and give the cameras. And the first thing that I would say is outside of any time frame. Like that's just general. I want to do that at some point in the future. I think that's about everything. So that's done. There's no outro. I did this just specifically to do this and get this up on YouTube, really. That's kind of update of where I am. But basically, I'm going to try again. Oh, actually, no, I'm not done. I'm not done. The other thing is, it's not so much a hindrance. It's just I'm gonna have to work around it. Is obviously I'm an adult, which means I go to work, I do all this stuff, live a life, which means I have no time to faff about when it comes to setting up stream or staying up late and playing video games all the time. Like on the weekends, sure, we can do that on stream or whatever. But the whole point of this is I want to kind of be able to do more than just that, so I could do like an hour, 2 hour long stream on a weekday after I get home and eat and decompress. Or I could just do like drawing, or for the foreseeable future, just going to be building these nano blocks and Legos and 3D puzzles. Crystal. Oh, there it is on the side right there. Crystal puzzle. There we go. That's where it says it. So I'll be able to actually do stuff on weekdays, you know? Because gaming, I don't want to game on a weekday. Or at least not like a long session. Like if I, for some reason, one Thursday afternoon decide, you know, I'm going to play a quick few games of, I don't know, Valorant or something, like 2 games. You can do that. Which feels like 2 hours, like 2 games. Like 2 hours is a short stream for a video game. But like a 2 hour drawing stream, that's pretty long. You know? That's kind of the plan there. Did I ever update the title? Oh, no, I didn't. Genius. We're 40 minutes in? I'm a genius. Yeah, I don't know. There's not much else other than, we'll see how it goes. No promises. This is just like what I want to try and attempt to do. Again. For like the 5th time. This never worked out. It's always been like some sort of like mental block stemming from these issues. Also, I kind of want to stall out now because the next shelf is almost done. Maybe that'll be something to do real quick on the stream, but also the whole, whatever. I think that's it. I got what I wanted out of this. I made a video, an update video out of this.